Today on RB's Toy Box, we're going to take a close look at some different products that you can buy off of Etsy for your Ghostbusters Proton pack from Spirit Halloween. Stay tuned. Welcome back to RB's Toy Box, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to do another install video from some parts that we picked up from Great Scott. That's right. Now, some of you that have gotten one of these 80%ers from Spirit Halloween, you know, you get this and you're like, man, that is not, you know, granted, these aren't screen accurate or anything, but I mean, it's just like, hold on. All right, I'm going to get you now. I mean, nobody likes these things, really. Now, a lot of folks have done what I did on my other pack, and we added a Spangler wand to this. As a matter of fact, Great Scott sells a kit that will allow you to put your Spangler wand on your 80%er. Like I have done. But for these, you know, for those that are going to jazz these up, which there's a lot of folks out there that are taking these and they're putting their own switches, their own lights, and, you know, they're doing a pretty cool little job jazzing these little babies up. And even on the 80% pack, or actually, I apologize, on the full-size pack from Spirit Halloween, they don't look much better than this, I want to be honest with you, but people are, you know, they don't want to go through the expense of putting a Spangler wand on there. I get it, so they're just jazzing this up a little bit. Now, that being said, how do we take this and make it work better with the V-hook? And that's where we get that part from Great Scott. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be installing this kit here from Great Scott for the V-hook insert onto our Spirit Halloween pack. Let's get started. Now, tools that you're going to need. Number one, you're going to need your little set here with Allen's. He has provided the screws that are necessary, except for these here. We're going to reuse these factory screws, these 4 that go around this circle here. We're going to take that out, and we're going to reuse those screws. So you need a Phillips screwdriver for that. And then you need to have an Allen bit for these. And then you need a drill for the hole. And then just like before, you need to find a drill bit that meets the shank of your screw. Now these are a little bit more fine thread than the ladder bar. So you want to make sure that you measure the shank, not the tip, but the shank against the screw, and make sure that if you put them side by side like that, that you have threads on the top and the bottom sticking out. This is one of those, if you go a little too big, you might have to put a little extra glue or go out and buy some longer screws that you can put a nut on there. Now, and you can probably reinforce that. We'll get to that in just a minute. Let's see here. The last thing you're going to need is a Dremel or some type of cutting tool. You can use a small saw. You can use a Dremel. You can use, I mean, you could technically use a really sharp razor knife, but you better be careful. Otherwise, you know, they'll be calling you, you know, four-finger Sally. You got to be careful with those razor blades, man, I'm telling you. But we want to be able to cut off, let me find it here, this piece here. So here in just a little bit, we're going to be taking that off of there. Now, if you make a mess, right, so you use a saw blade, don't sweat it. because we're going to be putting this little guy right here on top of it, which should cover up just about any scratches that you get to the bottom of this anyway, right? But I'm going to be using a Dremel because I like using a Dremel. All right, so that is our tools and parts list. So, oh, let me tell you which one of these bits that it takes. I have to take my glasses off because, man, these things are small. And it looks like the... Is it the 5/64? No? All right, sweet, that's it. Let's see if that fits with the other one too. And then I'll tell you exactly. Alright, let's see here. Nope. So that's a different size. And we're going to need... So the ones that go into here for the ladder, or the base, and the base that goes on this piece takes the smaller one, which is the 5/64, and the one that is in the B hook takes this one. Takes the 3/32. 5/64 for this one, and then 3/32 for the one that's going on the bottom down here. All right, now we got our tool list out of the way and our sizes. Now we can get started. All right, now for this one, if you're comfortable using Dremels, you can use a Dremel. I use this one here because it allows me more flexibility, because it's a plexi here, and it also is battery charged, so that helps me as well. When you put this on here, you're going to basically just go very carefully at an angle. Notice that right there, just at an angle, and we just want to kind of clear around the edges there, around the outer layer, and then we'll just be able to pop that thing off. Then we'll use the sides here to smooth it out. The type of bit that I use, you can actually, again, get from Amazon. I told you I keep them in business. But this is a grinding bit, but it's metal and not the, you know, the cheap little black asphalt pieces that just come apart. This is a steel bit. These things are fantastic for cutting metal, plastic. They're incredibly accurate. They don't waver and wobble, and they don't crack and fly off and get you in the face. These are incredibly safe because they're not brittle. And as a result, I can use these things and use them for months, especially if I'm not cutting anything more than just thin metal and or plastic, and it totally works perfectly fine. So I'm going to play a little music while I'm doing some cutting because it might get a little loud. All right, that's it. And of course, clean up the mess before your wife comes home, just saying. And if we come over here and take a close look here, we've got some scarring, but not like where you would get if you used a big old saw or something. This just kind of gives us a nice flat surface to work with. If you really wanted to, you could take some fine grit sandpaper and sand that down. But like I said, it's not going to matter because we're going to put on this piece right here. Now, when we get ready to drill through and put this piece on, you'll notice this piece is bigger than this is, right? So what you want to do is that if you put it back here, it's going to be more noticeable than if you put it up here where it can't be seen as much. The only thing that matters is the fact that those two holes right there are what's actually going in and holding it. And that's being done through these two longer screws that go along with this piece right here. And that actually goes on straight. It doesn't have an angle to it. But we're going to push that all the way up so that it is flush, just like that. And then, like I said, this hangs over a little bit, but you won't be able to tell as much because these two pieces here are all the way up. Now, do you have to use this? I don't think so. I think you put it on there just as a point of balance or something. I don't know, maybe to make it look more like the Spangler wand, because the bottom of the Spangler wand looks just like that. So maybe that's why, but this piece here more than covers the surface area of this piece here. So you could technically just secure that to the bottom like that and be done. So if you don't like the look of the way this is, in at least my opinion from what I've seen so far, you don't have to use it. So it's not providing any extra structural anything to it except for, you know, just being on there, making it look more like a Spangler wand. Now, the other thing that it may potentially give you the opportunity of doing that the Spangler wand has is it has an extra piece right here that you can probably put one of those little eye hook catches on so that you can then take this and hang it on your belt. The other thing that I might recommend, these are inexpensive enough. Now watch this. This is the little RB Toy Box extra tip here. These are cheap enough. You can just pick up another set of these and put on the back of this, actually technically on the back of that, you can put that on a belt clip that you can pick up from Amazon and have this. They sell these wide universal belt clips. You can use them for anything. And you take that and you just basically screw it and or glue it right to the back, and then you can take this off and have the V-hook also on your belt to hang from as well. Just something to mention there. So what we're going to do is just line this up really good. We're going to use our same drill bit from before, and then we're just going to plunge down in there, make our marks, and then all that's left is to really screw that piece on. So I need to put in my drill bit right here, this little guy. I'm using a stubby. And the reason I'm using a stubby, by the way, a stubby is just a stubby drill bit. You want to try to use that if you can, because we don't know exactly what all's down in here. If you're worried about it at all, this thing comes apart so easily. Screw, 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 screw. This pops off, this whole bottom comes off, and you can go through there. If you're worried about it, same thing. You can drop those through there, put a nut on the back of them, give you a little extra security there. But I'm using this stubby, so we should be perfectly fine. And I'm just lining that up, trying to get it where you can see it as well. I want it to be nice and flush. I've always been of the mindset to take a few extra moments, make sure that you get it right. You know, Daddy used to always say, you know, you measure twice, cut once. And that's all you really want to do. Now, before you do the second one, if you want to, you can pull that off, make sure everything looks good, and then go ahead and secure the first one to the piece. And that might actually be a little small. Let's see here. It might be okay. Is it going to grip? I think it's gripping. Let me get my other bit that I need for these. Remember, different screws, different bit. Make sure you always put your bits away. Don't lay them out on the table, because it is so hard to figure out where these go after you get done. Take a tip from Arby's Toy Box on that one. Whoosh. All right, now we're going to line that hole up. All right, so here it is on here. Now, how many of you were yelling at the screen just a few moments ago? Now, see, this is part of why I do these videos like this. I don't pre-install these and then take them apart and show you how. I literally open the package and put them on. If I make a mistake, you see it, because you could make the same mistake. And when I figure out the mistake, I go back and I fix it. You can tell I got that upside down. So we're gonna fix that right now, and then we'll, we're gonna be pretty much be done here in just a minute. So as before, we put our bit back, grab the next one up, because that's what this size takes, just like that. And now we should be good to go. So instead of that pulling it out from before, now we can grab it, make them hot, and then slide that back on there. Now, that in itself can get pretty annoying. I don't know if you've ever worn one of these and tried to find it to get out. Arby's Toy Box is probably going to work on a magnet to make it easier. But that is installing that B piece on your 80% wand, not the Spangler wand, but the one that comes with it. And that kit is from Great Scott. I hope you enjoyed this video, and watch me making a fool out of myself as I'm putting these parts on here. But make sure you subscribe and like these videos, please. I need to, I don't need to, but this is a fun hobby for me. I hope you guys and girls are enjoying this. Make sure you share Arby's Toy Box and just the fun that we try to have here. We got some different adventures lined up. As you can probably see on the channel, we also went to WonderWorks in Orlando recently and made a quick little video there. And we got some other little trips that are planned as well coming up. So I also have a series I'm going to be starting here soon where we're going to be checking out a lot of the local antique style stores that I like to go to. They're not like the antique, couches and furniture, but the cool antique toys that you find from anything from the 40s on up into the 90s. We're going to be looking around the Florida area for places like that. And, as maybe I'll venture out a little further from home and, hit up some other places. But in the meantime, stay tuned to Arby's Toy Box. I hope you enjoy these videos. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.